He rolled down the bulletproof window, drove straight into enemy fire, and came back out alive. Then he went back in, and again, 5 times. Dakota Meyer rescued 13 Afghan soldiers and personally recovered the bodies of 4 fallen Marines. He was told to stand down, but he didn't know how to leave his people behind. Dakota Meyer, before he was a war hero, he was just a small-town kid from Kentucky. He worked construction jobs with his dad, attended high school during the day, and carried bricks at night. He wasn't a top student. He didn't have big plans for college, but he had something else, a sense of duty. He once said, "I didn't have a lot of talent, but I always felt responsible for others." So at 18, he made a decision. I'm joining the Marine Corps. In 2006, he enlisted. 3 years later, he was in the middle of a war zone in Afghanistan. September 8, 2009, Ganjgal Valley, Afghanistan. A joint patrol of U.S. Marines and Afghan soldiers entered a village for a routine mission, reconnaissance, and diplomacy. But it was a trap, a well-planned ambush. Hundreds of Taliban fighters were waiting in the hills and rooftops. The moment the team entered the village, all hell broke loose. From a distance, Dakota heard the frantic radio calls from his team. "We need support. We're surrounded. Ammo's low." He asked permission to go in. "We've got to get them out." The response: negative. Too dangerous. Dakota stared at the radio for a moment. Then he shut it off. "If they're alive, I'll bring them back. If they're dead, I'll bring back their bodies." That was it. That was the decision. He jumped into a truck and drove straight into enemy fire. Bullets tore through the doors. An RPG exploded behind him. He picked up a handful of Afghan soldiers, told them to get in, and drove them out fast. Then he turned around. The truck was already damaged, but he pushed it back into the line of fire. This time, his target, 13 Afghan allies, pinned down in a narrow alley. There were snipers on the rooftops, bullets flying in every direction. He pulled up the truck and shouted, "Get in, move." He carried wounded men on his back, fired his rifle with one hand, and shielded the others as they climbed in. All 13 were rescued. One Afghan soldier had been shot and was unable to walk. Dakota got out of the vehicle and walked into open fire to get him. He reached the man, put his arm around his shoulder, and dragged him step by step back to the truck. "Stay with me, stay awake," Dakota whispered, and he got him out, alive. He went in again, this time to resupply ammo, to deliver grenades and water, to give hope. While bullets tore holes through his truck, Dakota marked enemy positions and coordinated with air support for a precision strike. His vehicle looked like Swiss cheese, but he kept driving. 4 Marines were missing. He knew the chances of finding them alive were slim. Still, he went back in, alone. He found them. They were lying behind a wall, weapons empty, helmets gone, signs of a fierce last stand. Dakota dropped to his knees, lifted them, one by one, into the truck. Gunfire rang out behind him, but he didn't flinch. In that moment, he was no longer a soldier. He was a brother keeping a promise. 5 times he went in, 13 men rescued, 4 brothers brought home, 11 hours of nonstop fighting. The truck was falling apart. He was soaked in blood, but he never left the driver's seat. For his actions, Dakota Meyer received the Medal of Honor, the highest military award in the United States. He was the youngest living recipient from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. But he said, "I'm not a hero. The heroes are the ones who didn't come back." The war ended, but his fight didn't. He battled nightmares, depression, guilt. He struggled with alcohol. At times, he didn't want to live, but he chose a different mission: to speak for those who can't, to tell the stories of the ones who didn't come home. Dakota Meyer, he didn't follow orders that day. He followed what he knew was right. A real hero isn't defined by medals. A real hero doesn't abandon his own. And Dakota was a real hero. Heroes live forever, only if we remember them. And now that's up to you. Please share this feed.